Madison.
Okay.
Okay, I'll call the meeting order at 7. First on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, the approval of minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion made by Mr. Brzezinski, seconded by Mr. Bath to approve the minutes. Any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mr. Brzezinski?
Yes.
Mr. Bath? Yes. Albert votes yes, passes 4-0. Next, the approval of claims.
Make a motion to approve the claims.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Bath, seconded by Mrs. Riddell to approve the claims. Any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mr. Brzezinski?
Yes.
Mr. Bath? Yes. Albert votes yes, passes 4-0. Utilities, MCO. How you doing, Nick?
I'm well, how are you?
Doing great.
Real quick, the water controls are working well. We still have to do a few more additions. We're having Mark from MV Controls put in an analog switch, so in case all the electronic stuff goes out, we'll at least have an analog switch that will actually go to the Omni site and call us out if we get a low water pressure. So the installation of the chlorine equipment went well. It's complete. As we reported last month, the scale supplier was having some problems with their product. Some of the boards they were getting from overseas were causing some pretty big problems with them, and he really recommended that we go with the one that was a little more expensive. We did that. It was still within the existing budget. We did have to replace a couple brass fittings, which we weren't expecting to do. We were expecting those to be a couple $100, but the existing chlorine equipment was, we could have had a catastrophe the way it was. It was really in bad shape. The fittings were brittle. I could just snap them. I mean, just like a stick. So it was good. There were a couple pieces that the one injection point, it was loose. It was hand tight, and we dodged a bullet. There's no doubt about it. So that was good. We're still waiting on McMahon to get the water report to us. Then we'll maybe look at some programming modifications on the backwash and on the operational program that we'll be doing. We still haven't made a decision on the alarm system yet, whether we want to go with SCADATA or not. They're still working on some stuff. I got an email today from Andy Deason, Gas Voda, who's the rep for SCADATA, and they're coming up with some apps and that we can we can look at on our phone and that. We can already do that with the Omni site we have. Where right now I'm just going to have Mark Rutella just put some more of the alarms into the Omni site so we can keep an eye on it a little better. Right now with the Omni site we can actually get almost real-time data. We can sit at home when there's nothing better to do and see what the level is in the water tower. Every 15 minutes it sends a signal and it updates us with that. So that's a good thing. We can do some we can send some stuff for pumps and that type of thing, so we can keep an eye on operation, so we don't have to necessarily go in. The sampling for the standardized monitoring framework's been completed. The results came back. Everything seems to be all right. No, I didn't see any problems. Austin Electric was on site and determined that the surge protection device was not installed at the wastewater plant. We have contacted McMahon regarding this. Austin was the electrical contractor when the plant was built. The plan showed that there was supposed to have been a surge protection device installed. So McMahon's talking to Thieneman, who's the general contractor on that. So we'll go from there and see what they have to say. I think they made contact a week or so ago. So in the typical time frame that these places work, we're probably about halfway through when we're going to probably get a response. So I'll be curious to see what the remedy is going to be for that. So we'll keep you guys informed.
Nathan, sorry to interrupt.
No.
Is our electronics up there at risk while that's being installed?
I'm sure it is, but it has been for 2 and 3 years, 2.5 years. So I
Okay.
think it's, that's some questions that are probably gonna be asked once we get, I would think, so.
Okay.
I've let McMahon know that there's probably been some, you know, there's been some boards and stuff that have gone out, and we'll let them determine what, you know, and then you guys can, I'll just inform you guys what's going on, so.
Okay.
Yep, no, I relooked at the, last week, I wanted approval, or last month, we wanted approval for the, some hoses and that, and I got looking at the lift station again, we can bypass through the lift station, so we probably only need about $400 worth of hoses, so haven't purchased them yet, but I think we can do that, with the bypass pump. The hard drive on one of the plant's main computers failed, talked to Lori, she has, take it up to Brainstormers in Chesterton. They fixed it. Unfortunately, it's not working. Adam's gonna check and see, we had to update some of the security software, so that may be causing, it's not letting Windows boot up, so I'm assuming we could walk through that. We made some adjustments to a couple of the baffles on the clarifier, so we're hoping to put that online to see if we, have eliminated the problem for the over torque and it was shearing shear pins. Hopefully that takes care of it, so we will get it up and running and see where that goes. Other than that, I don't think we've got anything else. Everything else seems to be going pretty well.
There was don't we have a wind sock at the water plant?
There may have been some time ago for chlorine.
I've heard now for chlorine, they're checking, they're wanting wind socks and anemometers for wind speed.
Okay. Check it out.
I know somewhere they had a check.
We're actually looking to see if, there's some reporting, and I haven't done this in a while, but at one of our other plants, they brought it up and we had to report it, so I gotta
It
see.
might be through Homeland Security.
And it used to be Sarah Title II, I think is what it was, and we're gonna look into it for here and see what it is. I think we can eliminate some of this if we only keep so much chlorine on hand, and so I don't know. I'll look it out and talk to it, I think you're right, I think it's, through the emergency management for the county, so we'll see what we can do on that. So, I'm glad you brought that up, wind sock up. You got an old sock we can.
Yeah. What is that, you can't buckle down wind sock either?
But we'll look at that, so.
Okay. Any other questions or anything? Thanks a lot. Adam, do you have anything? Streets.
It's all good.
Plenty of salt,
All good.
just around the corner. We have ordinance 2018-4, it's an additional appropriation. Whereas it's been determined that it's not necessary to appropriate more money than was originally appropriated in the 2018 annual budget, now therefore, Section 1 be ordained by the Council of the Town of Westville, LaPorte County for the expenses of the taxing unit, the following additional sums of money are hereby appropriated out of the fund's name and for the purposes specified, subject to laws governing the same. Fund 0708 Motor Vehicle Highway, major budget classification, transfer funds, amount requested $100,000. Approved by the fiscal body, $100,000. Community crossings, major budget class is 100. Street repairs is $100,000, and amount approved by the fiscal body. It's to do with the site.
Community crossing thing.
Community
They
crossing.
actually have the funds to get,
Oh, local match.
yeah, local match.
Oh, okay. I will make a motion that we approve ordinance 2018-4 on the first reading.
Second.
Motion made by Albert, seconded by Mr. Wyszynski to approve ordinance 2018-4 on the first reading. Is there any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mr. Wyszynski?
Yes.
Mr. Pratt? Yes. Albert votes yes. Passes 4-0. I'll make a motion that we suspend the rules and adopt ordinance 2018-4.
Second that.
Motion made by Albert, seconded by Mr. Wyszynski to suspend the rules and adopt ordinance 2018-4. Is there any discussion? Mrs. Riddell? Mr. Wyszynski?
Yes.
Mr. Pratt? Yes. Albert votes yes. Passes 4-0. Parks.
I have something on
Oh, I'm sorry.
that. On the, community crossing grant, we submitted all the data to the state of Indiana now, so it can be approved for closing. And just our commitment to this project this year was $135,000, which the state was $404,998.28 from NDOT, and that gives total funding of $539,998.28. Construction costs were $501,665.70. NDOT's portion was 75% of that, which was $376,249.28, and Westville was $125,416.42. So we will, Lori's already been contacted. We'll be getting back $9,583 on our 58 on our share, and the state will bill us for the additional $28,749. And we are in the process right now of submitting the one for next year. That's what this $100,000 is for. It's 75% the state will put in. We're hoping to get all of it. We may not, because we got all of it is what passed. So we're trying to do that, and we've got about 2.5 weeks from now, and then they'll award the bids in November. And also one other thing, we need to order a couple flags. I don't know, for the building here. As we was walking in tonight, we a state flag and a red flag for the town hall.
Do you have that 3x5 left over? Okay, we got an American flag.
Then all we need is the Indiana one. We got it up or something.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Okay, parks. Benches.
Yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about benches. Bubba told us, Jackie, that there are some benches that were at Clear Lake,
I've got them down at the shop now.
and so there are 4, and they're 8 feet long, so we can put 2 here and 2 out in Prairie Meadow. Yeah. So we're almost there. Bubba said it'd be nothing for him to set them for us.
And they're in good shape.
Yeah, I just had to weld out some stems on them to put them in the ground.
That'll be all right.
There is put aluminum benches.
So we have benches.
Yeah. I'm just need a few more items.
That's right.
Anything else on parks? Police?
Well, let's meet.
Yeah.
For August, we had 402 calls for service. 10 of those were accidents, 126 traffic stops, 6 ordinance violations, and 12 assist other agency calls. I gave everybody a group of papers, hopefully. The first one from Martin Security. Here in the last month and a half, we've had a little run of very strange complaints. Regina was familiar with the one that Ian and I received, where after Ian and I made a drug arrest, everything from that point on is public information, and one thing led to another, and we ended up with a family that was upset, and they came in to the police department and just gave Ian a heck of a time, and then eventually they made the claim that Ian battered somebody at the police department. So we pulled the video, and we were able to see that that was not true. The problem was that we were short one camera where part of the conversation was taking place, and we don't have a microphone. So I called Martin Security, and they had a very reasonable price of $610 to add one camera to cover a dead spot, and a microphone that would just cover the lobby and that little records area where people come in and they interact with us. And I think that would kind of shore things up for us a little bit. I just wanted to give you guys that information, and Regina and I discussed it, and we thought it would be an excellent idea. I just want to kind of touch base with you guys on it so that you understood why we were adding a camera and a microphone so quickly after putting the system in. Along with that, here in the last week or so, Ian and I were in the process of serving a warrant and trying to track down somebody who was very good at hiding. So we were able to do a traffic stop and do a roadside interview and find out where the wanted person was we were able to make arrests without incident. And after making the arrest, one of our investigations came through and we were able to serve another warrant while the person was incarcerated. And since then, now we have 2 more warrants. Unfortunately, we did the traffic stop, and the person we did the traffic stop on and did the roadside interview then, in order to cover their tracks, decided to make all kinds of crazy accusations about what we did during the traffic stop, and that we yanked her out of the car, threw her in the back seat of our squad car, and threatened her and spit on her and all kinds of crazy things. So that ended up with the suspect eventually bonding and coming into the police department with the video recorder and trying to have a conversation with Ian and I and video recording us, and it just ballooned to no end. So now they have video that eventually they'll edit to try to make us look like we're doing something silly, and I'm sure we'll be on YouTube eventually, but I think that it's time. We had tried the body cameras earlier, and we were the first agency in LaPorte County to get body cameras, but unfortunately, at the time we got them, the technology it just wasn't very good. We weren't getting good quality video. They were hard to use. It was difficult to get the video off of the cameras onto the computer, and there was no safeguards in place where an officer wasn't able to tamper with the video. So we had the town board meeting, and we decided to pull those out of service until kind of technology caught up to where we could use it and get a better product. So I had a discussion with Regina over the past few days, and I got some quotes that I gave everybody. And just real briefly, there's two ways that we can do it. We can store video on site, or we can do a cloud storage. And so some of the prices that we talk about, I'll explain them. The first one that's kind of hard to read, it's real small print, is from Axon, which is Taser. This is pretty much the Cadillac of cameras. It comes with all of the automatic switching for weapons draw, Taser draw, activation of emergency lights, and then also has an automatic activation if you're by another camera that's activated. It turns on automatically. Unfortunately, it's a 5-year contract at $3,288 a year for a total of $16,440. Now that comes with free software upgrades and cloud storage, but that's a lot of money, and it's gonna, after that 5 years is up, there's gonna be another 5-year contract. That contract is never gonna go away. We're constantly going to be paying for their service. And as nice as the cameras are, and they are very good quality, I don't know that I could afford that. The next one in your pile there says ITS at the top, and at the bottom you have a price of $5,052. This is it seems to be it's a similar product to the WatchGuard that's coming up next. This one it's manually operated. You can get a switch box for the light bar so that it switches on when you activate your emergency lights, but then everything else is manual. If you go to something and you don't have your light bar on, the officer has to hit the button himself to record. And there are no other safeguards in place. And with this one, you either have to buy a very expensive software option that's above and beyond this price, or you have to do their cloud storage, which is $265 a month for as long as you have the camera system. So year after year, you're paying that $265 a month. Those costs are going to build up. I think this is a very good product, but again, I'm going into that long-term thing where I'm constantly making a payment, and I'm not getting ahead. The last one that I have up there, there's 2 estimates from WatchGuard. WatchGuard is they're a very large company. They're the most popular company when it comes to vehicle cameras. Their first one in the middle, I kind of have scribbled there, 5,570. That is for their body camera that is expandable, that you can build on. So if we decided to go with body cameras, we could buy this initial setup, and then it will sync with whatever we want to add to it at a later date. If we want to get the switch boxes for the light bars, then this camera will work with those switch boxes. If we want to get cameras for the squad cars, then this camera will work with those cameras that we put on the squad cars. And the unique thing about this one is that these are manually operated, but they're always, I guess you would say, passively recording. They're on a loop. So if there's an incident where the deputy isn't able to push record or forgets to push record and we have a critical incident, I can go in as the administrator and retrieve that video as long as that camera has not looped over itself, which for whatever it's being used could be a day or two. So we have a little bit of a leeway, kind of like a safety net where we can fall back on it and get video if we end up with a critical incident. So I kind of like that option. And then you'll see on the second quote, the 9,530. If you took that 5,570 and took that off of the 9,530, that would be the cost of adding the switch boxes for the light bars at a later date. With this system, we can store and maintain all of our own video. So all we would have to do is develop a chain of custody, SOP, for the administrator, which would be me. And it would be password protected so that I could only access this equipment. I'm the one that dealt with all of the recordings for the cameras. And other than the initial cost through Brainstorm, setting the software up and everything on our server, there is no monthly fees. The upgrades are all free. The software, we don't have any other additional costs. So we buy it and we're done with it. It's a lot of money. It's a big investment. Next year, on my budget next year, we had discussed doing the accreditation through ILIAC. Initially it was CALIA, but then we discovered ILIAC, which was the same graders essentially, but much more affordable. So I think it's probably more important to make sure that we're protected and the town's protected, and maybe we can push that accreditation off for a couple, 2 or 3 years, and instead use that money towards the body cameras and make sure that we have all our bases covered and we're not getting into a situation where we have some ridiculous lawsuit and nothing to back it up. So that's what I wanted to bring to you. And I'm leaning towards the WatchGuard product. I think it fits the budget, it fits our needs. I don't think that we're large enough to benefit from cloud storage. Cloud storage comes with all of the evidence managing, all the chain of custody stuff. They do everything, but for the amount of requests that we would get for video, I don't think that we would be burdened to have to do it ourselves. And if we have an SOP in place to cover the distribution of that video, I think we'd be perfectly fine. That's my pitch.
Well, and I like the WatchGuard because of how easy it is to add to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I like that. And the other thing with WatchGuard is it switches to Wi-Fi,
Yes.
whereas the other one is
Bluetooth, I think.
Bluetooth. Yeah. Okay. So the Wi-Fi could be built into your vehicle.
Yeah, we have trunk modems, so we're running with internet connection everywhere we go. So they should fit perfectly in our vehicles.
These are the same cameras you got in your vehicles now?
We don't have cameras in the vehicles.
Oh, you don't?
Mm-mm. We could get their product down the road, and then these would all sync, and anytime if the in-car video were activated, then the body camera would be activated. If you hit the light bar, then they would both be activated. So you would essentially get 2 different views of a crime scene or of an incident.
But they do, the WatchGuard company actually is that their specialty car cameras?
Yeah, they're probably the largest car video manufacturer on the market. They're very popular. we would, I checked with Brainstorm, our server is 7.5 terabytes. The WatchGuard did a calculation with our calls for service and the amount of time that we would probably be downloading video, and this would take up about 2 terabytes of storage. And then we'd set up a cycle where non-critical incidents will be deleted every either 90 or 180 days, whatever we think is best, and then critical incidents would be kept for a year and then eventually need to be downloaded to a thumb drive and put in long-term storage.
What's the statute of limitations usually on if you have a problem a year?
It depends on what cause of action it is. If you're making a tort claim against the town, you have to file a tort claim notice within 180 days. And then you have 2 years from the date of the incident to file a lawsuit.
But you still have to 180 to do the.
Correct.
additional things.
Yes.
I am going to make a motion, excuse me.
Not off there
I
yet.
am waiting for everyone to make a comment, any comments before I do this.
Is there anybody around that has these, do you know?
The Michigan City has the Taser, the Exxon, and they're great cameras. It's a lot of money. LaPorte City, they don't, as far as I know, they don't have cameras. I don't think any of the smaller agencies have cameras.
But this is to help us to protect the town against somebody that wants to, what are they going to do? Are they going to claim based on a camera video that they took that they were not treated fairly, so they're going to pay thousands of dollars to get a lawyer to sue the town based on an edited video?
Pretty much.
I mean, is that something that's happened in others, like the town of LaPorte, which is much larger? Sure, they have just as many videos as we have in town of LaPorte.
Actually, LaPorte City, Ethan just got talking with their city attorney. They've been wrapped up with that activist group for a couple of years now, haven't they?
Yeah, I have that.
So it's a real threat.
Yeah,
is what you're saying.
they just randomly, I think he just goes to small claims court or whatever and files whatever lawsuit he wants to file, and it just keeps going over and over and
Yeah,
over
Jackie,
again.
I think it's kind of, it serves two functions. I mean, once it records, so that can assist with the criminal prosecution side. On the other side, if you have an individual claiming that an officer acted inappropriate, then you have footage of that as well, to be able to contest those, so it works both ways.
It does, and these would be on during, if you think about it, they would be on as we do field sobriety tests for OWI arrests. So it's that much more evidence to go towards a conviction for an OWI. They can be used at a domestic call. If you go to a domestic, you can walk into a home and you're gonna get a first-hand picture of, instead of just typing in your report, the house was in disarray, you're gonna see the couch turned over, the lamp broken, you're gonna see blood on the door. You're gonna actually have an interview with a victim immediately on camera, and instead of that person changing their statement later or trying to call them in at a later time to get a video recorded statement, you already had it.
So it sounds like the biggest benefit is evidentiary to help make sure that you're able to prosecute. Makes sense.
Well, on the other side of this too, like we talked about, if someone wants to come up and make an allegation against the officer, they can make an allegation against the community too. So this is protection for all of us.
It's, unfortunately, with the instant news and social media, everything is, there's a complaint, it's instantly tried in social media, and you're done.
Yeah.
It's pretty rough.
So, Mr. Fraser, I would like to make a motion that we, go with WatchGuard and getting cameras for the police department in the amount of $5,570.
For this year or next?
2019 budget.
I'll second the motion. Motion made by Mrs. Riddell, seconded by Albert to purchase from WatchGuard the cameras system for $5,070 to be taken, purchased out of the 2019 budget.
Actually, $5,570.
Yeah,
5570.
yeah, there's an adjustment to it.
Yeah.
so that's for $5,570. Any discussion? Mr. B?
I just think the main thing is that you can add to it, like Jim said.
It's almost like an à la carte.
Yes.
Beth? Yes. Sue Beth?
Yes.
Albert votes yes, passes 4-0. Everything signed or just?
Thanks for giving me those numbers.
And I forgot to put on the agenda about the community room. We're starting to get more interest in people that would like to use the room. The most recent one is we have a church that wants to come in and use it for like a Bible study type thing. And being that it's a government building, I didn't know if we should have any kind of SOP in place that covers who's going to come in and use it. Are we going to restrict it in some way? And I thought maybe I should run that past the board and see what your thoughts are.
Yeah, Darren and I talked about that, and I agree. I mean, it would be, when you're talking about policies, it's reasonable time, place, and manner restrictions that you can put on that. I mean, it'll be public space. It'll be open to all public groups to serve as that type of a community room, so church groups, other nonprofits, whatever it may be that want to be able to use it. But put some requirements in place concerning reservations, possibly some limitations to make sure that people aren't getting out of control in the room, things like that.
Would you have a time up until?
It doesn't, for us, I have BJ's Lock Shop coming in to do a couple repairs, and they're gonna put a different door handle on it, so we're pretty flexible, because we can set it up when they leave, it'll lock behind them, and I can close off the other part of the apartment. We have that door by the kitchen that locks, so really the only thing they have access to is a classroom.
So they could be there easily at, say, midnight?
Yeah, they could be there till whenever.
Okay.
We have somebody on duty for the most part 24 hours a day, so it's really not a huge issue. I just didn't know with government buildings, is there something we need in place, like, no, you can't use this for that. It's a government building, we can't do that. I'm not
So
familiar
how
with
would
that
that
stuff.
be drafted like that? Well, it wouldn't be a resolution, or?
It would be a policy that would be adopted,
Okay.
some policies and procedures. Darren and I can work together, put them in writing, and then we can bring them to you for your approval.
No, it's free. I'm done talking.
Okay, anything else on police? Okay, finance, we don't have to do resolution 2018-8.
Thanks, Bubba.
And as long as I'm fine, we'll do the fire department contract here. Dave's here, we've talked, we've had a copy of an original draft we gave the fire department, had discussions about that. I sent Ethan some revisions that I thought, he's just got them done. I don't know if you would like to, basically what we had a change was that the fire department is still paying a minimum water bill, which most of the time they have been under the minimum, except maybe in the winter. They're filling a tank.
All the time we pay minimum, right, Lori?
Now, this year, from back to 15, it just varied. But you said you were no longer filling the tankers at the station, that's why
Right.
it's over a minimum anymore.
So we've got the minimum on there. If the council would like to approve that, you guys want to review it, and I'll get a copy to Dave so your people can review it. We can approve it if you would like to approve it, or I can sign it pending their approval. I guess we do it that way. Does anybody have any problem with it? Do you want to explain the verbiage a little bit? It's Ethan.
Yeah, we had just made a couple of changes to this. I mean, usually every year there's a couple or 2 or 3 changes. Obviously, the payment amount was increased. That was increased to 3%, which is consistent with what we've done in years past. In addition, there was some language that we had added just about water use by the fire department, just providing us with reports and notifying the town when they're using town water for training purposes, just so we can monitor things along those lines. We did have the State Board of Accounts brought up some issues with that, so that was why we had suggested that language be included in there. In addition to that, there is some new financial reporting that's required of volunteer fire departments, so we put in some language to cover that as well. And those were the biggest changes.
Is that okay to get you a copy so your people can look at it, Dave?
Well, I think we agreed too, if we go over the minimum usage, we pay for it.
Do you want to put that change in?
Yeah, because we want to be, as you and I talked, the members being able to wash their cars is kind of a perk for the long hours that they're down there, and, you know, we're all volunteers. So if we do go over 2,500, we're willing to pay our share.
So basically what the verbiage is, they'll get a regular water bill.
Right. Right.
We'll you'll get the copy changed, and I'll get it to you, and then if you guys.
It was brought up at our meeting last night, so we're just waiting for the revised copy.
Okay.
And then I brought a sample of the 990, which is a real detailed report. That's our federal tax form, for them to look at and see if that will suffice for what they're looking for.
Okay, then you can revise that. He'll revise that, get it to me, and I'll get it to you. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the contract with those changes, and that I be allowed to sign it when that's done with the approval of the fire department after they review it.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Albert, seconded by Mrs. Riddell to approve the fire department contract pending their approval of the changes. We'll wait till Mr. Wyszynski gets that. Oh, by the way, we have a rule that if your phone goes off and here you have my Dairy Queen for everybody.
There you go.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm kidding, yeah.
It was my daughter, they were on their way
Okay,
down Food Road.
I think mine's gone off, don't worry about it. I'm just
I was
messing with you.
embarrassed.
No, don't be. If you were in Chicago and the city council, but you're good.
Well, if everybody wants Dairy Queen, I'll buy Dairy Queen.
You give those little wooden things like we do later. Okay, we have motion made by me, seconded by Regina to approve the contract pending their approval of it and ours. Any discussion?
No.
Okay, Mrs. Riddell.
Yes.
Mr. Wyszynski.
Yes.
Mr. Pat. Yes. Albert votes yes, passes 4-0. You can shoot that to me tomorrow or Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Today's Tuesday. Anything else on finance? Miscellaneous, 53 West Jefferson Street. Demo.
At your last town council meeting, we received bids for the demolition of 53 West Jefferson Street. I believe we received a total of 3 bids. I had an opportunity to review those bids to make sure that they were responsive and that they were responsible bidders. And based upon my review of that, I believe the lowest responsible bidder is WA Recycling Services, that had provided you with a cost to demolish the structure at that property in the lump sum amount of $4,500. So if the council is so inclined, I would ask for your acceptance of that bid tonight and an approval of a construction service agreement between the town and WA Recycling Services, Inc. to perform that work.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve awarding the bid to WA Recycling Services, Inc., and that we enter into a construction service agreement with them.
Second.
Motion made by Albert, seconded by Mr. Wyszynski to accept the bid from WA Recycling Services and enter into a construction service agreement with them. Is there any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mr. Lee? Yes. Mr. Bath? Yes. Albert votes yes, passes 4-0. Market on Main, Market on Main people?
Are we ready to sell the old building?
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that.
No, that's what I asked for.
Ethan yesterday sent me
The legal notice that will go into the newspaper, we had been waiting on, there was some of the environmental survey that was done that Americo got to us. So we have an opportunity to basically make copies of those that are available to bidders. So the legal notice is ready to go at this point. I believe you already authorized us to go forward with that, so I would anticipate it'll be appearing in the newspaper here in the near future. The one thing you'll have to decide is, I mean, by law, it has to be published twice, 1 week apart, and at least a week before when bids are due. With these type of, you know, bid notices where we're actually selling real estate, it may be worthwhile to let it out, maybe publish it a little bit more to see if you can get more people interested in it. So maybe we wanna go a little bit above and beyond with this.
I had somebody ask me the other day about it, too. So, I mean, there's people out there. Yes, Mr. Hale?
What do we do with the old siren sign? Sell it with it or take it down? Or the old town siren used to go off at noon every day, it's still up there?
I called, EMA, and they sent a contractor out to look at it, take it down, and they picked that spot out at Prairie Meadow, because they wanted to put it up on Prairie Meadow.
The old town siren or the new one?
They'll probably put a new one up.
Oh, there's still, is the old one still up there?
Yeah,
But it's, somewhere along the line, they kinda, I think we got lost in the mix.
it's just on the old side where the Watkins house is,
Yeah.
and it doesn't look real sturdy.
It'd have to come down. But
I
they,
don't know if the town ain't gonna use it again or not use it again.
they wanted to put it at Prairie Meadow, they said that's kinda the ideal spot for it.
I mean, before you sold the building, I don't know if we would
Yeah.
have to take that out of there or not.
Yeah, Jeff from EMA was working on it, and I think they got busy with the radio project and never got back to us.
Were they gonna move that, the tornado siren or the old one?
I'm talking about the old one.
Yeah.
The fire department, we used to use for fire calls.
Yeah.
We used to ring it noon every.
The new, yeah, the new
Whistle. Yeah, and the other one, the county
The county.
contacted us about putting it at Prairie Meadow, and we approved it.
They're gonna move the emergency siren over there, are they? I bet you Glenn will be happy.
Yeah.
I will.
Well, but right now, I mean, that would be included. I mean, it's attached to the structure that's out there, so if we wanted to exclude that from the sale, we probably need to add some additional language to address that, or get it out of there relatively quickly.
What's it gonna take to get it out of there?
I get a crane in there to get it out there.
You want it at your house?
No.
Maybe you decide next time it comes to the World Series, you won't even have to hook it up to anything.
Don't leave that there.
Wow.
That's a load of belt.
They win a couple of games and look at, yeah.
Do we wanna, is it operable?
I don't know, Mike, I don't know, if you shut it off, I don't know.
I'll go over there.
Hit the switch.
Hit the switch, let's see what happens.
I don't remember where it's at.
I think there's a manual switch at the station, isn't there, Jim?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it don't work anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, it's your station.
That was probably a good thing.
There used to be one inside the
Yeah, this
site
side
too.
there too.
Yeah, there was.
Okay, we can take a look at that. So we can go ahead and let's put it in there like next week, and it'll give us time to do something with getting that siren out of there. Or when we find out more on the siren, we'll
I mean,
publish
if you
that.
wanted it, I don't know if you guys want it.
I don't know, yeah, what would,
Yeah, I don't-
why don't you just sell it with the building, is that?
Someone would like it.
Yeah, we
It's a
can
new
take it out,
one,
maybe they'll give it
supposed
to
to
us.
go up.
Maybe it'll give
Yeah,
you a price.
That would be a good idea.
Let's go ahead,
Someone may be into those.
we'll go ahead and, what is that, 38?
Yes.
And then put contact ID on anybody who wants to see it, or anybody.
Right.
Call them, they're interested.
Show it.
Are they gonna take the trees down and everything down, or just the house?
Oh, on,
Yeah.
I think, and everything. Kurt,
And everything is
yeah,
all
I
right.
think he's taking,
Yeah. What if they, NIPSCO did the drops on that and got that out of there, all those lines?
oh,
So they have to do a drop and pull a line out. I don't know about the gas.
Yeah, well,
yeah, what the heck.
He's done those before, so.
Yeah, he did one for us.
Yeah.
Anything else? So we're gonna go ahead and publish that. Anything else? Citizens' comments, anything?
What'd you say?
What citizens' comments, anything else? Do you have anything? I will look for a motion to adjourn. Motion made by,
Sorry, we didn't realize it was.
I'm sorry.
oh,
I just want to introduce myself. I'm Dave and Kathy View. We're the new runner owners of Old Time Country Market. The town's been very, very receptive to us and very helpful. I see Dave almost every day, so it's good or bad. Our biggest concern though with this is, the town's been great. It's the cost of doing business as far as different vendors and whatnot. We're doing everything we can to keep the prices down. And our biggest concern is how it's affecting seniors. And one of the things that we'd like to do is offer, especially in the inclement weather, home delivery. The problem with that is we have to have somebody over 21, insurance costs. We're looking maybe for some volunteers that could help. Where we can get the orders ready, someone can come. And we're also looking, if anybody knows the availability of a motorized cart that we can have for those that need it.
We're seeing a lot of seniors coming in and they park right in front of, and you guys could have told us the name, you refer to it all as a little store, we would have just named it the dang little store. They park right in front of the door. We have a very small space, and they're struggling just to do that. I have no idea how they were making it to Michigan City or Valpo and trying to deal with Walmart. We have ones that come in the door and we go and do their shopping for them. There's a lot of need here for a lot of these people, and once the weather's bad, but I've talked to Shirley, who does the food pantry, and so she's tried to do delivery before, and I realized it can balloon out of control. I mean, it has to be just for the ones who truly need it. So we're looking for suggestions, anyone else that we can contact who might be able to assist us in setting something like that up. I mean, we're not doing something extreme like a daily delivery, and we did call the Meals on Wheels, and I was extremely surprised to find out only 2 people in Westville are taking advantage of that program. Only 2. Out of all the seniors that you have in this town, there's only 2. We do have flyers up at the store to try to give to people at this point, but it just seems terribly underserviced to me, and I don't know, it's a very big, group here.
There's only 2 people getting Meals on
2.
Wheels. One was my mom.
2 out of the entire
Are
town.
those people out there?
This entire town, there were 2. I couldn't believe it when I was talking to Cheryl.
20-some apartments out there.
Wow, Graham needs to do it.
I mean, and it's not just getting the food delivered, it's having that safety check, knowing that they're there, they're answering, I mean, it's a big component out of that. And I've even talked to them about maybe piggybacking on what they do and getting suggestions from them, but it's such a big group and it's still being underutilized. And like I said, we're concerned, but I mean, they can't afford delivery charge. I mean, this is the demographic that can afford it the least. And just trying to figure out some ways that we could, help.
What about the churches?
Something we can bring up though.
Hey, Mike, as far as a motorized cart, if they would get a hold of the Lions Club, anybody on the Lions Club, they have that medical loan closet
There you go.
that, they loan out medical equipment.
Yeah.
They'll bring it to your house and everything for you. So, that might.
Jackie knows the contact, you know contact them?
Butch Weston's real big in it,
Ken.
Ken Maddox is big in it.
They have they call it a trailer or a closet, but it's actually a full-blown trailer. I think they have 2 of them now. They have beds, they have a lot of.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you see a need, the Lions Club is a good contact for that. I mean, kind of new to the town, we're working with the food pantry, a few other things, we're learning our way around, but any suggestions in this direction would be so appreciated.
Well, welcome to Westville.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
I know we've talked before.
Oh, yeah, Mike and I talked, and I want to give a big shout out to Brian Fetzer and Janet. They've been very, very helpful with us.
We can appreciate what they're doing for you, what they did for us with the police building, and they're still doing. So,
Well, I told Brian about once a month, if you set the bar so high, not only are you a legend meat cutter, but you have your own street named after you.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna change my last name to Maine, slightly. Okay, anything else? What is the most popular street name in the United States?
Harding Ave.
Albert Park.
Park.
Okay,
And useless
I have
trivia.
Yeah.
And with that.
I just wanted to say that the beautification committee is alive, we're doing some things, Lori and I are sharing emails, we've got a few letters, we've got a soft commitment on some concrete for next door. Of course, that doesn't include the finishing of it and maybe stamping if we'd like to do that. And, we've got a couple of letters out for contributions to the possible future of the park next door. So we're not ready to like, you know, really share a lot of what we've accomplished yet. We're still in the process.
Jackie, where would they send donations?
Actually, we were using Lori's email address for the town right now.
Okay, so if someone wants to drop a donation off, they can drop it here at the town hall.
I think so.
I think we can use the park member voting function specific to that.
And, so we're looking for like a bike rack, you know, from the bike stop in Washington City and, you know, the people that are willing to contribute to the park. So hopefully we'll have something to share that's progress, more actual progress.
Thank you.
Anything else? Thanks for everybody coming out tonight. Motion made by Machensky, second by Albert to adjourn. Any other discussion or comments? In that case, all in favor? Aye. Opposed being none, meeting adjourns at 7:50.
This is father-in-law in my day. Jimmy is here. This is father-in-law in my day. I graduated.
Oh, really?